Qatar Qsuites are widely regarded as the best business class seat flying in the sky. In fact, it is the only business class seat that offers a double bed for couples, which I am pumped about. They've been flying in the sky for 7 years now, so it's nothing new, but it'll be Kara and I's first time ever trying the Qsuites. In the past, we have flown in some of the best first class seats in the world, including the Emirates Game Changer Suite, Singapore Suites, and even Etihad's The Residence. But we've heard that the Qsuites can actually be almost as good as flying in first class. But oftentimes it can be booked for a fraction of the price. So we are super excited to see how this journey stacks up against some of the best flights in the entire world. As we fly 15 hours from Los Angeles to Doha, where we'll spend 10 hours in one of the world's best first class lounges before finishing our journey with a short flight from Doha to Abu Dhabi. If you're new here, our life hasn't always consisted of fancy first class flights, even though many people in the comments section have speculated that we're trust fund kids. That is unfortunately not the case. We started this channel 8 years ago when we had $35,000 saved up, and the plan was to go travel the world until the money ran out. And I hesitate to suggest this, but if you really want to, you can actually go back and watch the adventure from day one. But just be warned, as far as camera work and editing goes, it was a rough start.
Kara's not really into the whole vlogging thing before she has coffee.
We were totally making it up as we went, but that playlist will be linked below. It's called Start From the Beginning. If you want to watch camera shy baby version of Kara and Nate, that's your place. Even though we started on a very strict budget, we've always been a little fancy when it comes to flying because I've been playing the miles and points game for years now. So before we left to go travel, I had applied for 22 credit cards and saved up over 2 million miles and points. And we're obviously still playing the miles and points game now. But that first year, we redeemed almost all of our points for free economy flights because the goal was to stretch it as far as possible so we could stay on the road longer. I explained all of this at a McDonald's in Bangkok on a tray. It's kind of become like an iconic video. It's really bad.
We earned 25,000 SPG points.
But during 2016, we splurged on one business class flight. You see, before we left to go travel, we both sat down to make our original bucket list, and at the very top of my bucket list was trekking to Everest Base Camp. I don't know why, I just thought it would be the most epic adventure ever. And even though she wasn't convinced, Kara agreed to go on a 2-week hike where we had to burn yak poo to stay warm. The trip ended up being epic. We have lifelong friends from that trip. It was amazing. But at the time, to thank her, I decided to burn a large stash of our miles and points on the longest business class flight we had ever taken, flying from Nepal all the way to the US in Qatar business class. That was 1 year before the Qsuites came out. But picture this, 2 broke backpackers who counted every single penny, who had just completed the biggest physical challenge of their entire lives, being put on an airplane for 12 hours where all the food and drinks are completely free. Let's just say we made the most of it, and to this day, it lives in my head as one of the best flights of our entire lives. So needless to say, after 7 years of waiting, we are so excited to finally get to try out Qsuites. We made a quick stop at the Qantas Business Class Lounge for a glass of champagne, and then it was time to head to the gate. That is going to be our home for the next 15 hours.
Thank you.
So we were watching our first time on Qatar last night, and I believe this is where the happy dance originated. Let's see if she still got it.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten worse.
This is crazy for business class.
Beautiful business classes I've ever seen.
Marble. This is just as good as I hoped it would be. The seat configuration in Qsuites is super interesting because right now we're facing backwards, so we're going to be flying backwards the entire time, and then the next row faces forwards, and then they alternate, and somehow that allows them to put way more seats in the plane, but it also gives you this super private feel. We chose seat 1F and 1E, which are the first 2 middle seats in the plane, and the reason we chose to face backwards for the entire flight is because the seats that face forward have like a bigger divider in the middle, and these are right beside each other, so they're made for flying together. So when they turn these into beds, it's basically a double bed. Both of our feet have to go in these footwells, but outside of that, there's pretty much nothing separating us.
It's almost like the Singapore suite.
Almost. It's always a little painful to give up the window seat, but to be able to sit side by side for the next 15 hours was totally worth it. And if I can't have a window seat, then a tail cam is the next best thing.
I'll pull up the other angle on my screen and then you can see both.
Wow, have you been working out? No, that one looks small, this one looks big.
Just this arm.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Also, having a choice of champagnes in business class. Double cheers.
They've given us our pajamas, which I will be putting on ASAP after takeoff. We have a drink menu and a food menu to look at. I'll open our amenity kit once we take off, in addition to giving you a full tour.
Not the smoothest takeoff, but we're appreciating this together. We just sat on a train for 96 hours. I bet we could do the same thing on this flight if we're being honest.
You're so right.
Just keep doing laps around the world.
Okay, we are officially at cruising altitude. They've brought us our beverages that we ordered. I got the aged Bordeaux 2014, plus some roasted salted nuts. Okay, I just have to say it, they're not warm. They're not warm nuts. Our flight attendant has not come by to put this back down yet. This had to be raised for takeoff. It can even go up to here, actually. I would think that this would make it feel like a lot more cramped, but I still think this is one of the best, most spacious seats I've ever had on an airplane. So push this back down for now and just pretend this isn't here. Okay, so starting in the front of our suite, we have obviously so much legroom, but I will say as far as storage goes for personal belongings, there's not a ton of space. Personally, I would prefer it this way. It's just very open. Technically, you're not supposed to put stuff on your footrest during takeoff and landing, but I snuck a few of my things on my footrest. There's so much counter space up here, and there's a little hidden cubby over here where there's motion sickness bag, noise canceling headphones. They've given us a water bottle. Oh wow, that's the prettiest water bottle I've ever seen. And you can fit a few other little things up here. Above the footrest, we have the tray table, which has a hidden button beneath it. It took me a while to figure out how to open it, and then look how gigantic it is. We'll put that away for now. Oh, you have to press the button to put it back. Two.
It's not that hard. You just grab the button, you pull it out, and then you grab the button and you push it back in.
I'm pushing the button and it's not, you do it.
Wow. That was so hard.
Above the tray table, we have the TV. I don't know how many inches it is, but it feels like one of the biggest TVs we've ever had. Lots of fun little features on it, like all the different camera angles that we showed during takeoff. Lots of good movies, can't wait. Like, I think I could watch at least 3 on this flight. Beneath the TV, we have the USB port number 1 and an HDMI port. So if you had your computer and you had movies downloaded of your own, you could plug in your computer and watch your own movies on the TV, or you could use it as a second screen if you were working. And over here, we have an actual outlet and a second USB port. Above the outlet, there's another little storage space where I have my phone, and look at all of these buttons. I've already pressed all of them, and the first one, when I pressed it, turned red and it said D&D, and I was panicking that I pressed a panic button. Turns out D&D just means do not disturb. But when it turned red, it was kind of scary. Then there's this like eating position, and apparently they want you to have really good posture when you eat, because when I pressed it, it just moved my seat to be straight up and down. There's like a lounge button. It just reclines where your eyes are perfectly in line with the television. Obviously there's a lie flat button where the seats lie completely flat, and the flight attendants have told us multiple times whenever we're ready to go to sleep, they'll come do Turndown service and turn our seats into beds. So very much looking forward to seeing that process. The next button is near and dear to my heart because Nate was so excited on our 2016 flight when we had a massage button. I haven't turned them off in 6 hours. I actually don't know if it works. Oh wait, I feel it. Kind of working. I have a little light right here. Aw, a little coat hook. The remote, when I first saw it, I thought it was gonna be just like really old and clunky, but I was surprised to see that it's pretty much the size of like a cell phone. Let's talk amenity kit. Top 3 best reasons to fly business class. IMO. This is by Diptyque Parfum Paris. It comes in a box, which is a first, I think. Amenity number 1, we have fresh lotion for the body.
Does it say for the body?
It says for the body. Oh, it's so nice. Wow, I'm gonna put this actually all over my body. Next up, we have Nourishing Lip Balm, which I have in
Nourishing balm for the lips.
Next, we have Eau de toilette.
Oh.
Vaporisé natural spray.
Like a toilet spray.
Surely it's not poop spray.
People are gonna think you did that on purpose, but I promise you did not. It smells so strong too.
Last but not least, socks. Branded eye mask and earplugs. Everything in this Amenity kit is lovely. I'm very excited about it all. But I have to say, I'm a little disappointed because there's one thing that they don't have, and that is brush. Back in 2016, I opened my Amenity kit and they had this really fun brush that folded in half. It was a comb on one side, brush on the other side, and I kid you not, I still have it.
Real quick, we want to say a massive thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video and continuing to support our channel. Most of the time when you see us flying business or first class, we're doing it with miles and points. But every once in a while, when we find a good deal, we might pay cash so the video can be more interesting. And sponsors like Surfshark allow us to do this. So thank you, Surfshark, for giving me the opportunity to not spend 15 hours in economy. If you haven't heard me talk about Surfshark before, it is the best VPN on the internet. VPN standing for Virtual Private Network. As you can tell, it's a little loud in here. I'm in an airport. We're constantly traveling through airports to new hotels and connecting to the public Wi-Fi in those spaces. And public Wi-Fi can be a gold mine for hackers, but it hasn't been a problem for us for the last 8 years. And a big reason for that is because of Surfshark. Because a VPN encrypts all the data sent between your computer and the internet so that no one can steal your sensitive information. But the good news is a VPN isn't all serious. It can also be fun too, because you can use it to change the virtual location of your computer, which will give you access to completely new content libraries depending on what country you place your computer. If you don't already have a VPN, we're obviously a little biased and highly recommend Surfshark, but it is the only VPN to offer one account for unlimited devices. Plus, if you use our code Kara and Nate, you can get 3 months for free, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk to try it out. To get started, just click the link in the description below or scan the QR code here. Thanks again to Surfshark for continuing to support this channel. We massively appreciate it. We also really appreciate it when you show support to our sponsors.
Thank you. I love these salt and pepper shakers. We have a candlelight. Obviously, it's not a real candle because we're on a plane, but what a great vibe setter. I mean, this changes everything.
I've just been served an unexpected amuse-bouche of lobster with caviar. I think this is the first time that we've ever been served caviar in business class. It's no Emirates first caviar, but off to a good start.
Since I pointed out that the nuts were cold, I needed to point out that the bread was warm. Oh, delicious. Thank you. I'm starting with the Arabic mezzi, spicy hummus, olives, shishito peppers, and feta. Honestly, if this was my meal, I would be happy. But this is just the beginning.
There are few things more relaxing in life than settling in for a nice meal and a movie on an airplane where you have no internet connection and just relaxing.
I'm finally getting to watch Barbie after all the hype. Oh, scandalous. The beginning of nearly 15 hours of eating and watching movies. Can I use my hands? Whoa. One of the best things I've ever had on a plane. Beautiful, thank you. Grilled tofu with vegetables and sweet and sour sauce. Do I even need to say it?
So we both pre-ordered the vegetarian option. I went with the Asian, Kara went with the Oriental, which turned out to be a paneer curry with rice and maybe a lentil dal. The paneer. You're jealous, aren't you? Hey. No, you gotta get the piece of paneer though. Cut it in half.
Will you feed me?
Cut it in half.
Will you just feed me?
All right, you ready?
No.
Yeah, you ready?
Smaller.
No.
Smaller than that. I won't eat all of that.
3,
Don't.
2, 1. Get the paneer.
I feel like I'm in India.
For the dessert course, we both went with the cheese platter, which, like everything else, was absolutely delicious.
This bathroom is lovely. The mirror has these beautiful lights and a makeup mirror in the middle. Typical sink and toilet, but so much space, and there's even a window in here. There's a baby changing station, a full-length mirror, hello, some lotion, and this spray is actually supposed to go on your face. Unlike the perfume I used earlier. And now it's finally time to change out of my clothes and into my PJs. We have these drawstring navy pants, a gray top with a lined v-neck, that's a first. They even include a bag for you to put your clothes while you're wearing your jammies. Big fan of the PJs and the sweatshirt. Oh my gosh, they even have toothbrushes in here and razors. So they came and offered to make our beds, and that consisted of putting this little mattress topper thing on top of our seat, and then they added a pillowcase to the pillow that we already had at our seat. Feels very nice. We also each have a cute mini pillow, and then we have a blanket. Ooh, I like the blanket a lot. This brings the coziness level up multiple notches. Oh my gosh.
Made it till 8 p.m. So much for not sleeping. We still have 10 hours left on the flight. We're gonna get a little sleep. We'll see you soon.
Morning.
How'd you sleep?
So good.
Somehow we have already been on this flight for 12 and a half hours and it's already time for breakfast.
Fried rice and tofu for breakfast. Don't mind if I do. Nothing like fried rice and black coffee at 5 a.m. 2016 me wore these pajamas confidently right off of this plane and into the lounge and onto our next flight. Current version of me is not jet lagged enough to do that, so back in my normal clothes. I am gonna try to steal them though.
Kara is 32 minutes away from finishing the Oppenheimer movie, and there are 29 minutes left in this flight, and he keeps showing his commercials for Qatar.
I will not get off this airplane until I see what happens.
They gave us chocolates.
Amen. Seriously.
Wow, this is crazy. So cool. Whoa, you can see the smoke coming up off the wheels.
15 hours later, we have made it to Doha, and I have to say, Qsuites lives up to the hype. This does not feel like an airport lounge.
I'm not sure what just happened. Technically, our next flight is in first class, so I don't know if all first class passengers get special treatment or if Nate and I are actually just getting special treatment, because technically we had to get permission from Qatar Airways to make this video, so they know we're here. First of all, there was a sweet woman with a sign with our names on it waiting for us when we deboarded the plane. Nothing makes me feel fancier than that. And then she led us to this bus that on the inside looked like a private jet. The bus brought us to the terminal where we just walked in, and she escorted us all the way here to the first class lounge, which feels nothing like an airport lounge. It feels like I'm in a very fancy museum where I don't belong, honestly. 2016 Kara would be flipping out, and 2024 Kara is flipping out. There are these amazing water features everywhere, multiple sit-down restaurants, a full bar. It's massive, and it's all free. But best of all, they have these quiet rooms, and they already reserved one in our name. The quiet room is basically like a hotel room.
1 twin bed, 2 twin beds, a desk, TV, and the best part, in addition to the robes, we have our own private bathroom with a shower.
So we could go sleep there for the next 6 hours, but nah. I already had a coffee, have myself a glass of champagne, and then believe it or not, we're gonna leave this lounge. We're gonna come back, but we have to leave this lounge for 2 reasons. Let me show you why. Okay, reason number 1 is we have to go visit
the business class lounge, for old time's sake.
Also, you can't come to Doha without seeing the giant teddy bear that costs millions of dollars.
I still think it's overpriced. I don't understand. I just wonder, like, why? I cannot believe we're back. I am just flooded with memories right now.
Okay, story time. In 2016, when we were flying home from Nepal, we spent the night in this lounge. We thought it was the greatest thing ever. There were chairs that basically laid flat. We could not have been happier because there is no way that we were paying for a hotel. Also, this lounge has one super unique feature. That is
The world's largest indoor pond. That's
So-
not true, but it feels like it.
the seats that we slept in were over there, and the bathrooms are over there. And the reason that's important is because neither one of our stomachs were feeling well after having been in Nepal for a few weeks. So I would wake up in the middle of the night with my stomach rumbling and need to get to the bathroom really fast. And all I remember is just having to walk around this giant pond like 10 times in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom.
Trust me, it feels 10 times bigger when you're about to poop your pants.
I'm also just remembering that they had attendants in those bathrooms that would go in and clean every single time after you used it, and by the end of the night it was just like so embarrassing to have to go in there again, and I just felt so sorry for that person.
Train is arriving at Northmount Station.
So the other reason that we talked ourselves into leaving the first class lounge was to come here and see this indoor garden. It's called the Orchard. It is a 100,000 square foot tropical garden built inside the airport. I've obviously taken a lot of inspiration from Singapore's Changi Airport that has the Jewel with the big waterfall in the middle. This feels so much like being in Singapore, which is the best airport in the entire world. So that says a lot. But the really neat thing about this garden is that it's actually inside security. So to get to the big waterfall in Singapore, you actually have to go into the country of Singapore. Where here, if you're just transiting through, you can come here and hang out in a tropical garden, go to a coffee shop, shop at Chanel or Louis Vuitton, spend all your money. You have all kinds of options. I think this is the only lounge in the world that has a Louis Vuitton in the lounge, over the top. It's honestly really hard to know where to spend your time in this airport. Like, obviously the first class lounge is amazing and over the top, and if you have access, that's where you should be. But I just found another business class lounge, and this one actually overlooks the tropical garden. Like, there's so many amazing options when you're laying over in Doha.
Cheers. This has to be the latest espresso shot I've ever taken. It's 1 a.m. here in Doha. We're about to board our last flight, which will take us 1 hour to Dubai, where we'll then take an hour plus car ride.
No, we're going to Abu Dhabi, and then the hour car ride takes us to Dubai. Basically, no matter whether our bodies think they're in the time zone that they came from or the time zone that we're in right now, we should not be awake by the time we get to our hotel. I know we flew business class and we should be rested, but we have this problem where when we're flying in a lay flat seat, we feel like we should just like stay up and make the most of it, which is what we tried to do. And then we got to this lounge and they put us in a room that had these amazing beds, and we totally could have slept and been super rested by the time we got to our final destination. But then we're just like, we're here, we're in a first class lounge. We can't sleep while we're in a first class lounge. And then we end up at our destination just as tired as we would have been if we would have flown economy. But it's a lot more fun. 10 glorious hours later, it is time to board our final flight to Abu Dhabi. And we are boarding from the first class lounge. We don't even have to leave the lounge. We are walking straight onto the plane. All right, our last flight of this multi-day trip, 1 hour to Abu Dhabi. Oh, looking good.
I want to be
Good morning, yeah, of course, yeah.
Is it morning?
Yeah, it's morning.
Oh.
It's 2 a.m. already, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good morning. Enjoy your flight. Have a pleasant flight with us. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Enjoy.
This is amazing. No regrets about the double espresso I just shot.
This is a pretty insane seat for a 1 hour flight. It really doesn't matter what seat I'm in because I'm definitely sleeping from here to Abu Dhabi, but to have a full lay flat seat for an hour-long flight is ridiculous. This might be the shortest flight that I've ever been on. We haven't even taken off yet, and it already says 37 minutes to Abu Dhabi. Also, this will give you a little more appreciation for how much privacy we had in our Qsuites. Like, an incredible seat for a 1 hour flight, but if we would have been on this for 15 hours, you can see everyone else in the cabin. We're literally just going from here to here.
Cheers. Lemon mint juice. Honestly, the best juice I've ever had. I don't know how many hours it's been since we've been flying and eating and drinking, but the journey continues. It's 37 minutes, but we're gonna order something and we're gonna eat it.
Cheers. Yes, it is 2 a.m. and we're having coffee. This is absolutely ridiculous. A white tablecloth and a full meal on a 37-minute flight.
Is this starting at Disney to Abu Dhabi now?
Literally, they just set the food down. This is crazy.
Welcome to Abu Dhabi. The local time here is 4:11 in the morning.
28-ish hours later, we have almost arrived at our final destination.
Still have a little ways to go.
That was our last flight. For some reason, it was literally half the price to fly to Abu Dhabi instead of Dubai. So from here, we're gonna grab our bags and then get a taxi. Oh, we made it. It's a rough life, flying Qsuites and hanging out in the first class lounge. But honestly, I am exhausted. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more flight review videos, we usually save the best ones for this channel, but we film the majority of our flights, and the ones that don't make this channel go up over on Daily Drop. We'll link those down below. If you've never been to that channel before, there's probably 4 or 5 other flight reviews over there that you might want to go check out. And if you're still here and wondering what's next, why we're in the Middle East, we'll give you a little sneak peek.
Hello, world.
Honestly, if we just turned around and went home now, it was all worth it. This is everything that I hoped that it would be. Wow, that's insane. All right, let me show you what's going on. This tire here is completely flat. It's come off the rim. It's so flat. Like at this point, I don't even have an idea of how to fix this. See you next week from a much less comfortable bed.
By the way, I'm not the biggest fan of the Barbie movie. I mean, it was fine. I feel like there was a lot of hype. So my expectations were very high. Maybe that was the problem. I'm sorry, this is probably very polarizing. I feel like everybody loves Barbie. Okay, what else? I think there's one more thing down here. Gosh, I can't even open that.